Well, speaking about which, I mean, it's just, I guess it rains for FIFA now. Because Ololopade joins us now. He's a former commissioner for sports in Ogun State to shed some light on this matter. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much, guys.
You know,
good morning, viewers.
When I went through the papers and saw that part of Henri's handball, remember France, Ireland played, and his goal, Ireland, they had a fantastic game on the day, and that goal from Henri was the undoing. So Ireland was going to investigate and say, no, this couldn't have been allowed. Only for us to see in the dailies this morning that FIFA actually paid
£3.6 million
for that, for them to stop that investigation so that they will not win that case. And sometimes you wonder, what else do we expect from FIFA now?
I'm happy you've started from that angle. 4 years ago, I wrote a paper. It was more like a thesis when I went to do my MSc on sports management. It was a FIFA course, by the way. And my paper was on corruption in sports. I had the opportunity to fly to Zurich to talk to the head of FIFA Security 18. He's no longer the head now. And from the research, I came across piles of documents showing institutionalized corruption in sports generally.
Wow.
With cricket being the worst. But because of the expose from way back 1950s to date on cricket. So cricket has been tackling it, but people had not opened their eyes to football. And what I discovered was that the betting syndicates in football was growing by the minute. So I asked a very pertinent question. I said, if people are placing bets on who will get the first corner kick and who will get the first throw, and millions were being paid around the world, how were we sure that FIFA was not part of it? I did ask that question. It's in my paper. And the gentleman told me point blank that there was no way FIFA were going to have enough capacity to monitor betting rings in Asia or Africa. And it wasn't rampant in Africa then, but it was rampant in Asia. But that they had their eyes fixated on the betting system in Europe. And as at that time, they had developed a software that would raise a red flag where there's a pattern of betting. Which brings me to the issue of what Delaney said yesterday, the Irish FA chairman. Has it not occurred to you that years down the road, we've always wondered why a small nucleus of countries tend to make it to the semi-finals and final of the World Cup? Even the Copa America, even the Nations Cup.
Not that they work hard.
People have said
and train very
when you
hard.
don't have Nigeria or Cameroon or Egypt at the Nations Cup, it kills marketing. It kills the business of football.
Oh no, I hope they're not.
Haven't you heard that before?
Thing. No, we heard that before.
If Germany or Brazil don't make it to the World Cup semi-final, it affects the marketing.
So do they then try to make it look right by having those teams be there?
I'm not suggesting that, but it is scary to have read what Delaney said, that they were going to challenge the Henri's goal in a court so as to ascertain whether they ought to replay that match or get a qualification. And that was killed by a bribe of 3.6 million. I call it a bribe because...
Let me quickly go to your thesis. Quite an interesting one that you wrote concerning corruption in sports, which is holistic. That is why you're talking also about cricket. But you spoke with Ethan then, who was the head of security, and you said there were a series of other allegations or reports of corrupt practices.
Around the betting syndicate.
Around the betting syndicate. Yes. What did he tell you they were doing about it at that point in time?
Well,
did you ask questions?
Oh yes, I even wrote it in my thesis that, and which is also true, that they do have a software now that will flag off any sort of betting system that has a semblance. Yes, that has a semblance of factual arrangements. And that is why, if you discover, even last week, there was an announcement from UEFA that 54 matches this season are being investigated in Europe. I think they're on top of that now. But my concern was not even the betting syndicate. My concern was to find out how institutionalized corruption was in FIFA. And I do disagree with my dear friend and good brother Ahmad Jupinik, the president of NFF, that Blatter should not be looked into. I feel strongly that in every cooperation, every system you run, the buck stops on the desk of the head. And you can see that people like Jack Warner, who has been so much indicted in the last 2-3 years in all of this, is now coming out, taking off the gloves and saying, I'm going to take Blatter down. For me, not looking at Blatter, I thought the most ridiculous thing that happened was Blatter's announcement that he was stepping down. If I was in his shoes, of course I'm not in his shoes, but if I was in his shoes, I would simply have said, I'm stepping down and my position must be taken over maybe by an ad hoc replacement immediately.
To save the game?
To save the game, one. Two, to give for proper restructuring that everybody, including Blatter himself, has agreed that FIFA needs now. If you say you need restructuring and you are part of the problems, you cannot be one of the people
no,
to
but
bring
at
the
that
restructuring.
Time, it had not been said that he was part of the problem.
No, the day he announced his resignation, he did say it, that FIFA needs serious restructuring and that the restructuring was going to start from his next day in office.
No, but I mean, as an individual, remember they're investigating several officials, former officials of FIFA. But had there been any allegation against him directly before that day?
It goes back to my premise that if you are the head of FIFA...
Okay, on that grounds, you say the buck stops at his table.
Yes, you cannot also... I agree with Chief Segun Odegba. I watched Chief Segun Odegba 2 days ago with you guys, and I totally agree with him. You cannot isolate yourself.
But you heard his speech. He said, look, if people want to do bad things, they hide it. And so he was trying to say that.
He suggested, I noticed Mark was trying to, protect channels from any libelous statement. Chief Segun Odegba actually hit the nail on the head when he said he believed, I mean, I don't have that belief, that a deal was struck. That maybe the FBI had called Blatter to say, this is what we have on you. You better go now. That was Chief Segun Odegba's belief, and I'm sure a lot of people will share that belief too. My point is, Sir Blatter, they've been a consistent accusation in the last 30 years. Because when you look at the ISL deal involving Avalanche, Blatter was the Secretary General. Come on now. I've been in administration myself. There are things you cannot do in my ministry without my knowledge.
So, but the buck at that time stopped at Avalanche table.
It was the Secretary General. I'm saying they've been accusations from back then. There is no way in 40 years of FIFA, like I was told, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo said once, that no matter how clean you are in public office, if there is a ruthless investigation on you, they'll find something.
Maybe some people will say that maybe that's exactly what is happening. Right now, I think it was like yesterday, Swiss authorities did come out to say that Sepp Blatter is not a part of the investigation. In fact, they're not investigating him.
And what did the FBI say?
And some people might say that maybe that is, where people might start inferring that maybe there is a deal somewhere, keeping this safe. But right now, the discussion we just had, talking about that game between Ireland and France and Thierry Henry's goal, people have said that one of the reasons why FIFA has been able to get away with many of the deals that have gone on within the administration is because they have kept it away from the game. But when we now begin to cast aspersions on the game itself, doesn't that already bring in another dimension?
But we have always casted aspersion on the games within the football community. Let me give you examples. How many African referees were reprimanded a couple of years ago. A lot, including the head of the referee body from FIFA. Why were they punished? In my thesis, a referee in the German Bundesliga was sent to jail for 4 years.
An African referee?
No, a German referee. I'm just saying the game has always been tainted.
But
it cannot take away from the beauty of the game.